Hey, friends. Welcome back to Morning People, the podcast for all dog moms who don't know how to do grief right. I'm Nina, and today's episode, I wanted to talk about how grief doesn't follow a script, which is ironic because I don't know if you listened to my first episode, but that clearly wasn't scripted at all. I didn't really have an idea for what I wanted to talk about. I knew I wanted to kind of tell the story of how I got into the work that I'm planning on doing and my career change and everything. But I really just dove right in and didn't have a plan at all. So I took some time and I took a little step back and made myself kind of a guideline for the points I wanted to hit and the things I wanted to talk about. So hopefully today goes a little bit smoother. I also noticed that kept apologizing for my dogs barking in the background, and I realized that you can't hear them. So I'm not apologizing for anything today. Jumping into how grief doesn't follow a script, and what got me thinking about this is with learning about death and grief and how to support people and hold space for people dealing with grief. It got me thinking a lot about different experiences I've had with loss and whether or not it had anything to do with me personally. Even just hearing friends talk about their losses, or someone's pet dies, or someone's best friend broke up with their partner, and it it really kind of opened my eyes to how much judgment we have towards other people's grief and the path they take to move in their grief and to move past their grief and to heal through it. There really is no right way to do grief, and that ties into my intro, the whoever who can't do grief right, because there is no right way to do grief. There's always going to be people who think you're grieving too loud or not enough, or you got over it too fast, or you can't get over it and just get on with life. And I've witnessed friends and loved ones who have experienced horrible loss, and the people in their lives are telling them to get over it. And who are we to decide how long someone is allowed to be sad for? And I think that's really selfish. And we have all these societal pressures on us and that we put on each other to do it the right way. And even when it comes down to grief, like, we have enough pressure on ourselves every day to be better and to be good and to do this and to do that. And it's so intense that we can't even let people grieve the way they need to and experience loss the way that is healthy for them. We're always going to have people in our lives who expect you to be heartbroken, but you can't be happy. Why are you laughing? You should be sad. Why aren't you laughing enough? It's been so long. Get over it. We're expected to cry, but not too much. And we're expected to get back to normal by some timeline that doesn't exist. And these people are telling us how we should feel and what we should feel when they've never been through that experience before. And I just think that grief isn't logical. There's no one way to do it. And it's okay to feel how you're feeling. And it's okay to take the time you need to. It's okay to take too much time. It's okay to take too little time, because it doesn't exist. Time doesn't exist, friends. We're allowed to be sad. We're all going to deal with these things differently, and we need to recognize that that's okay. And we need to take these pressures off of each other. Life is hard enough, especially right now. We're going through a lot, and we need to let people just feel their feelings, especially if they're doing it in a healthy way that's not affecting anybody negatively. Then let your friend cry. It's okay. We're all going to get through it. When I was in my 20s, my mom's boyfriend passed away. And it was really scary for me. It was devastating loss, obviously, and it was very unexpected. And it was the first time in my life where I had to hold space for someone that experienced such a traumatic event. And I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. I was scared to see my mom because I didn't know what to expect and I didn't know how to be there for her. And I think eventually maybe I'll get my mom on here and she can talk more about that experience for her. It's not really my story to tell, but I can explain the grief that I kind of went through and how I processed it. But as far as the whole story, I think that should come from her. But anyways, I was young and I was living on my own and I had a VHS player and I would come home from work and I would put on the movie Old School. And as soon as it ended, I would rewind it and play it again. And I didn't even watch it. It was like every time it was on, I was looking through it. And it's a very funny movie. And I never reacted. I never laughed. I would just stare at it and rub my forehead. And I rubbed my forehead until the point where I got a giant bruise on my forehead. And that's how I dealt with it, you know? Looking back on it, I don't think it was the healthiest choice. But that's okay. Like I think it's okay. I don't know. You tell me if it was okay, but I got through it, so maybe it was. But that's the thing is grief can look like watching Old School and rubbing your head until you get a bruise, or staring at the wall for hours, or going out for coffee with a friend and laughing too hard and feeling guilty. It can look like rage or forgetting groceries, forgetting appointments, forgetting plans with friends, forgetting your friends even exist. It can look like functioning so well that everyone around you thinks that you're fine, but you're just struggling to survive. And that one hits me really hard because of everything I'm going through right now with this health stuff and trying to navigate what the next step is going to be or what my future is going to look like. And for so long, I pretended that I was okay. And now that I get to take a break and take a step back and really focus on it and feel it, I've realized that I'm not okay and I haven't been okay for a really long time. And that's another story, but it does tie into this. You know, there is a lot of grief associated with being chronically ill. And I touched on that on my first episode, and I'm absolutely sure that it will be brought up in future episodes. So if you're a chronically ill person, we're here for you. My point is grief can be loud or quiet or big or small, or you can have a meltdown in public, or you can cry yourself to sleep every night and nobody even has to know about it. There's no one way to do it. And I really feel like people who think otherwise either are trying to make themselves feel comfortable or they've never had to rebuild themselves after loss. And that's a really hard thing to come to terms with. And I know there's a lot of pauses and breaks and throat clearing and sniffles in these recordings, but I don't want to edit this too much. I don't want it to be sparkly and shiny and well produced. I want this to be a real experience for all of us. And I want this to really speak to people who are hurting, because grief can be messy and grief can be raw. And I want to make that safe. So I hope you can bear with me while I try to find a balance in all of this. It's very new. It's a very different experience, and it's going to take me a little bit to get the hang of it and to not take so many pauses and to not think about what I'm trying to say, which has always been a struggle for me. It's in my head really well, and then when it comes out of my mouth, it never sounds the same. But the other thing that I think is very funny is it's awkward. It's weird to sit here by yourself with a microphone. You feel like you're on the spot, but you put yourself here. Like, you knowingly are doing this. I made the conscious effort to get this microphone and to sit by myself and talk into it. And like, I talk to myself all the time, all day long, I'm talking to myself. But as far as I know, that's not being recorded. And as soon as you know, it changes things. And it is awkward and it is weird. And it will take a little bit for me to kind of understand what I'm doing and feel a little bit more comfortable in it. So I thank you for being along on the ride with me. It's weird, friends. So if you are grieving and you feel like you're doing it wrong, I really want you to hear me when I say that you're not. And your grief is okay, whether it's slow or angry or peaceful. You're not broken. You're human. If your grief makes sense to nobody else, that's okay. It doesn't mean it's invalid. It just means that it's yours. And you don't have to make it look like anything else to make other people feel comfortable. You're allowed to laugh. You're allowed to rest. You're allowed to be okay and not okay at the exact same time. If this episode resonates with you, feel free to share it with someone who you think might need the reminder. Or feel free to follow me on Instagram. You can reach out there. You can send me a DM. Send me your stories about grief and how grief has affected you. And if you've ever felt judged in your grief, maybe I can do an episode where I share some stories from the community and we can use our experiences to help each other and build each other up. Thank you for sticking it out with me to the end on this one, my friends. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you sharing. I appreciate you sharing your thoughts and your feelings and your grief with me and everybody else. Yeah. Don't forget to reach out on Instagram, Morning People Podcast. And if you're grieving and you feel like you're doing it wrong, remember that you're not. You're not alone. You're a morning person. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.